So you are sitting on your couch right now and you are rewriting a simple two-line email for the fourth time.
Right. Yeah. We all know that feeling.
You're just sweating over the punctuation, wondering if a period sounds too aggressive, and your heart is racing. Your body is acting like you are standing at the absolute edge of a cliff.
Oh, absolutely. It is a very real physical reaction.
It really is. Or, think about when you leave a text on read, or when someone leaves your text on read, your stomach just drops. We usually just brush this off, right? We call it a personality quirk, or we say we lack confidence.
Yeah, we blame ourselves. We think our mindset is just broken.
Exactly. But the reality is that a joke falling flat in a meeting or just a stranger raising their eyebrow at you, it triggers this massive physical alarm system.
It does, because to the mind, it is not just an awkward moment. It feels like a genuine threat.
And that is the mystery I really want to dig into today. Why do we do this? Why does a totally harmless look from a coworker make us feel like we are in physical danger? We really need to figure out how to get some clarity on this and stop letting other people's opinions control our daily choices.
Well, to find that clarity, we have to look at the tension between our modern lives and our ancient biology. I hear this from people all the time. They replay a slightly awkward conversation for hours.
Oh, yeah. Like when you were lying in bed at 2 a.m. just staring at the ceiling.
Exactly. And people think their brain is malfunctioning, but it's actually doing exactly what it was built to do. It is just an ancient survival habit.
A survival habit, like from back when we lived in caves.
Pretty much, yeah. For most of human history, social rejection was not just an uncomfortable feeling. It meant you were going to die.
Wait, really? Because you'd be kicked out of the group.
Right. If you were pushed out of your group, you lost your food, your fire, your protection. You simply could not survive alone. So the people who survived were the ones who cared deeply about how others saw them.
So our ancestors were basically the people who stressed the most about their social standing.
Exactly. Nature favored the overthinkers, in a way. The ones who had a hypersensitive mindset about being accepted.
Wow. Okay, so how does that show up in the brain today? Did we build a new system for worrying about emails?
Not at all. The brain is incredibly efficient. It didn't build a new system for social pain. It just hijacked the physical pain system.
Seriously, it uses the exact same system.
It does. When we look at how people process social exclusion, it is the exact same alarm network that handles physical injury.
That is wild. The thinking part of your mind knows you aren't going to be thrown into the wild just because you messed up a presentation.
Right. Your logical mind knows that. But the older reacting part of your mind literally cannot tell the difference between a broken arm and a broken ego.
Yeah.
To that old alarm system, pain is just pain.
It's like a smoke alarm, right?
Yeah.
The alarm is screaming because you just burned some toast.
Yes. Perfect example.
But the ancient part of your brain thinks the whole house is burning down.
Exactly. Smoke alarms are designed to be super sensitive, and they only have two settings on or off. They don't have a setting for just burnt toast.
So when a coworker sends an email that sounds a little cold, that alarm just starts blaring.
Yeah, and then your body gets flooded with stress chemicals.
Yeah.
Your heart beats faster, your body is getting ready to fight or run away, but you are literally just sitting in an office chair staring at a screen.
If you look at how human psychology works and the long-term patterns of what makes people happy, it totally makes sense.
It really does, because connection is everything.
Right. Like the strongest predictor of living a good, healthy life is the quality of our relationships, having a real sense of belonging.
Oh, absolutely. It matters more than wealth. It matters more than almost anything else. We are deeply tied to other people.
So needing approval isn't just some silly flaw. The mind is just chasing connection because it needs it to survive.
Exactly. But the problem is, so many of us are chasing that connection using this old, panic-driven survival habit. And it doesn't just happen during big moments of panic. It runs quietly in the background all the time.
Like an app draining your phone battery.
Yes, exactly like that. And it changes as you grow older. In your 20s, you are still trying to figure out who you are. You are constantly looking around, using other people's opinions to build your own identity.
Right, because you are still defining the exact person that is being judged. The fear feels massive.
It does. And then you hit your 30s, and the pressure just piles on.
Oh, for sure. Career stuff, bills, maybe starting a family. It's a lot.
It is a massive mental load. And self-doubt usually peaks right around this time. You are trying to handle all these new heavy duties, but you are still running that old hypersensitive threat detector.
And most people haven't really built the tools to manage it yet.
No, they haven't. So it just starts to look like chronic stress. just this constant heavy feeling.
So what happens when people get into their 40s and beyond? Does it go away?
Well, often those habits of thinking get really deeply set. If you spend 20 years constantly scanning a room to see if people are mad at you and always changing your behavior to please them, those paths in the mind get really fast and thick.
So it just becomes automatic, like walking or driving.
Exactly. Many people think, well, this is just my personality now, but the beauty of growth is that the mind is always flexible.
Really? It never stops being flexible.
Never. The ability to rewrite those paths and change your mindset stays with you your whole life.
That is so hopeful. But, I mean, if we don't actively try to change it, the cost is huge, isn't it?
It is exhausting, and the tricky part is we give it these nice labels.
Right. We say, oh, I'm just a team player, or I'm just super easygoing.
Yes, but so often that is just a symptom of a mind working overtime. We call it people-pleasing or trying to be perfect.
Or just staying quiet, like holding back an idea in a meeting.
Or over-explaining a simple choice just to stop anyone from criticizing you before they even open their mouths.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like you were just being careful, but really you were just trying to avoid being attacked.
And trying to predict every possible attack takes an unbelievable amount of energy. Which brings us to something so many of us deal with: judgment fatigue.
Judgment fatigue. Okay, tell me about that. Is that why everyone is so tired all the time?
It is a huge part of it. Think about it. When someone grabs their third cup of coffee at 2 in the afternoon, they always blame it on a bad night of sleep.
Yeah, or just having too many emails to answer.
Right. But often it is actually the physical drain of constantly being on guard.
Because even before anyone says a single word in a meeting, your brain is doing all this hidden math.
Exactly. It is looking at facial expressions, listening to the tone of a voice, noticing who is looking at their phone. You are constantly trying to figure out if you are safe in the group.
And doing all that hidden math burns actual physical energy.
It burns so much energy, it keeps you tense, which messes up your deep sleep, which makes it harder to handle your feelings the next day. The coffee isn't fixing a lack of sleep. It is just trying to cover up how tired you are from fighting invisible enemies all day.
That is wild. I mean, think about how many people are living exactly like that right now.
I see it constantly. There is a great example of this. A woman named Sarah. She works in marketing in her early 30s.
Okay, what was her situation?
Well, everyone thought she was the ultimate team player. She never complained about a deadline. She always kept the peace. She looked like a star from the outside.
But inside, I am guessing she was completely drained.
Completely empty. She would spend her evenings just staring at the wall, thinking about tiny things she said during the day, wondering if she sounded too pushy.
Oh man, just trapped in her own head.
Yeah. And she started saying yes to projects she didn't even have time for just because saying no made her panic that people would think she was lazy.
So she was totally disconnected from what she actually wanted or what she could actually handle.
Exactly. She was spending all her daily energy managing this fake image, just trying to control what everyone else thought of her.
So what changed for her? Did she burn out and drop a big project?
No, it wasn't a big failure at all. It was actually during a review. Her boss just gently told her, your ideas are great, but you always bury them under apologies.
Wow. Like she was saying sorry before she even shared the idea.
Right. And that was the moment it clicked for her. She realized she wasn't actually living her career. She was just playing defense against opinions that didn't even exist.
Opinions that didn't even exist. That is the crazy part. Because we do all this exhausting work, and the people we are performing for, they aren't even watching us most of the time.
Not at all. They are entirely focused on themselves. In human behavior, there is this concept called the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect, like we feel like we are on a stage.
Exactly. Because we are the center of our own world, we naturally just assume we are the center of everyone else's world too. We think there is this bright light shining right on all our flaws.
We guess way too high on how much people notice about us.
Way too high. We assume everyone is using all their mental energy to track our mistakes. But really, their mind is totally full just trying to protect themselves.
That is kind of hilarious when you think about it. Everyone is just stumbling around totally blinded by their own imaginary spotlight.
It is funny, but it is also a bit tragic,
Yeah, it is. But wait, sometimes people actually do judge you. Like real harsh criticism does happen.
It does. But there is a truth about harsh judgment that changes how you see it. The people who are most likely to judge you harshly, they are almost never the calm, happy people you think they are.
Really? So who are they?
The loudest critics are usually the people struggling with a terrible, loud critic inside their own head. They can't handle their own fear of falling short, so they project it outward onto you.
Oh, wow. So they're just putting their own rigid rules onto everyone else.
Exactly. It is their own internal panic bleeding out.
That totally flips the picture.
Yeah.
We're all walking around, burning out our bodies, terrified of being judged by people who are secretly terrified of being judged themselves.
Right. It is just a circle of silent panic, and it shows why our usual ways of protecting ourselves just don't work.
Like trying to be super successful to protect yourself.
Yes, the myth that if you just achieve enough or make enough money, you will finally build a wall high enough to keep the judgment out.
But you can't outachieve a biological fear, can you?
No, the mind doesn't work that way. The finish line just keeps moving. If you rely on success to feel safe, you just get stuck on a treadmill.
And the other myth is probably that if you just stay quiet, you are safe. Like if you never take a risk, no one can judge you.
Which is such a common trap. But staying quiet doesn't turn off the alarm system. It just points that stress inward. And over time, that builds up into heavy anxiety and just a general feeling of sadness in life.
Because you aren't living. You're just hiding.
Exactly. Take Michael, for example. He's a project manager in his mid-40s. For 10 years, he sat in leadership meetings and never shared his real thoughts.
10 years. Just biting his tongue.
Just biting his tongue. He filtered everything he said because he didn't want to be called difficult. He thought he was being smart and playing the game.
But really, his whole mindset was being run by fear.
Exactly. And the thing that finally woke him up had nothing to do with his job. It was his teenage daughter.
Oh, what happened with her?
She told him she was too scared to try out for the school play. She was completely frozen by what the other kids would say if she forgot a line.
Oh, man. Seeing your own fear in your kid, that has to hurt.
It is a profound wake-up call. It made him face reality. He realized that by hiding from judgment his whole life, he was silently teaching her to do the exact same thing.
So to help her build resilience, he had to actually fix his own habits first.
He had to change the deep mechanics of how he handled that fear.
Okay, so let's get into that. How do we actually change this? Because if even highly confident people still have that ancient alarm system in their heads, what are they doing differently when someone criticizes them?
It isn't that confident people don't feel the fear. They absolutely do. But they have built little habits to pause the reaction. They feel that sharp spike in their chest, but they choose how to respond.
And how do you build that habit?
The fastest way to start is the 10-second delay.
The 10-second delay. Just count to 10.
Essentially, yes. It uses a basic rule of human psychology. The reacting part of your mind is incredibly fast, but it is messy. The thinking, logical part of your mind is much smarter, but it is a little bit slower.
So when you get a rude email, that fast part of your brain just spikes immediately.
Right, and it yells at you to reply instantly or apologize or attack back. That is the reacting brain talking.
So waiting 10 seconds just gives the smart part of your brain time to put his boots on and get to work.
Exactly. It buys time for the logic to catch up, look at the big picture, and hit the brakes on that old survival panic.
You are moving from a blind reaction to an actual clear choice. I love that.
That brings so much clarity. And once you start doing that, you can take it a step further. You can start gathering evidence to teach your brain that the world isn't as scary as it thinks.
How do you gather evidence? Like, what did Michael do?
He started a practice called tracking. The mind is basically just a prediction machine. It guesses what will happen. Like, if I tell the boss this timeline is impossible, he will think I am useless.
And if you never actually speak up, your brain just assumes its guess was 100% true.
Right. It stores that guess as a hard fact. So to change the mindset, you have to prove the brain wrong. Michael started writing down his fears right before a meeting.
Like writing down the exact disaster he thought was going to happen.
Yes. And then he would speak his mind, and afterward he would write down what actually happened.
Let me guess the boss didn't think he was useless.
Actually, the boss agreed with him. The boss said, you know what, you are right, the timeline is totally broken. By tracking the gap between his fear and the actual reality, he gave his mind solid proof that its alarm system was broken. He replaced that fuzzy dread with real clarity. It completely rebuilt his confidence.
That is so powerful, proving your own fear wrong. But wait, I heard about another way to do this. It sounds a little bit crazy. The intentional mistake.
Ah, yes. Intentional imperfection. This is fascinating.
Like James, right? The young software guy. His fear of getting things wrong was so bad he couldn't even finish his work.
Exactly. He was totally paralyzed. So he decided to create tiny, safe moments of failure. He intentionally started putting small spelling mistakes into his daily email.
Okay, I have to stop you there because we need to talk about reality.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Right. I mean, in a normal company, making mistakes is not a fun growth exercise. It looks careless.
Yeah.
If I use the wrong there in an email to a manager, it hurts my reputation. How do you do this without ruining your career?
It is a great point. The trick is the stakes have to be incredibly low. You are not putting errors into a massive financial report or a big presentation to a client.
Okay, so it has to be truly harmless.
Right. A quick message to a friend at work or a rough draft sent just to get some quick feedback. The goal isn't to look bad. The goal is to feel that awful, uncomfortable feeling of sending something imperfect and then watching as the world completely fails to end.
You are just teaching your body that a tiny mistake doesn't mean you're going to be kicked out of the tribe.
Exactly. You are separating your worth from your daily output, and that takes real self-compassion.
Self-compassion. Like people hear that and think it just means feeling sorry for yourself or being lazy.
People do think that, but it is actually a tool for serious emotional discipline. When you are ruled by the fear of judgment, a mistake feels like an attack on who you are. I made a mistake, so I am a failure.
But self-compassion changes the story.
Yes. It changes it to, I made a mistake because I was rushing, so I need to slow down next time. It treats the mistake as just a thing that happened, not a permanent tag on your soul.
That brings the stakes way, way down. It quiets the alarm system.
It truly does. And there are daily habits we can use to make that quiet feeling stick. Like the no explanation practice.
The no explanation practice. I need to hear this.
Once a week, you pick a very small request and you say no to it without giving any reason at all.
Oh, that sounds so hard. Just saying, I can't do that right now, and then just stopping.
Yes. Just holding the silence.
But the urge to fill that silence is so strong. You want to say, oh, my car is in the shop and my dog is coughing and I'm so busy.
Because your mind thinks that if you give enough excuses, you can control the other person's judgment of you.
Wow. Yeah, you're just handing them a list of reasons why they aren't allowed to be mad at you.
Exactly. Learning to just stand there, holding your boundary without defending your right to exist it, is a beautiful way to show your mind that you are perfectly safe.
That is profound. And I imagine our phones make all of this way harder, right?
Oh, they act like gasoline on the fire. Social media is literally built on a math system of approval.
Right, the likes, the views. It turns human connection into a score you can check every 5 seconds.
It takes our ancient fear of judgment and cranks the dial up to maximum. So setting up phone-free blocks during your day isn't just about productivity.
It's about letting your nervous system actually rest.
Exactly. It
Right.
stops the endless comparison engine. It lets your mind go back to a quiet state where your worth isn't being tallied up by a machine.
It all really comes back to seeing that we are running this ancient software in a modern world. The fear of what people think it isn't a weakness in your character.
Not at all. It is a brilliant survival tool that kept our ancestors alive. Your mind is just trying to keep you safe in the group.
But we aren't running from lions anymore. A weird look from a stranger is not a death sentence.
No, it isn't. By waiting those 10 seconds for the thinking mind to wake up, by tracking our fears, and by letting ourselves be a little imperfect, we stop being prisoners to that ancient fear. We redraw the map.
We get our lives back.
We do. And as people go about their day, I always ask them to look at the invisible world around them. Look at your friends, your family, your coworkers.
Because almost all of them are hiding behind this exact same fear, right?
Yes. They're all exhausted, looking around the room, totally terrified of what you might be thinking of them.
It is basically a room full of people wearing heavy armor, trying to protect themselves from other people who are also wearing heavy armor.
That is exactly what it is. So just imagine what happens to the energy in that room if you are the first person to just drop the act.
If you just stop trying to control the imaginary spotlight.
Right. Because the moment you start performing for them, you silently give everyone else in the room permission to put their armor down too. You don't just free your own mind, you unlock the energy of everyone around you.
These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Geeks Mindset has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same thoughtful way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you, share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life. And it helps Geeks Mindset reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the join button right next to the Geeks Mindset logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Mindset Support Circle. Your support helps honest mindset awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Geeks Mindset moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.